How can it be permissible? She compromised my principle. Yeah, yeah. That kind of love is mythical. She's anything but typical. She's a crazy wind dog, she's a powerful force. You're about to conform when there's no other course. She used to look good to me, but now I find her simply irresistible. Simply irresistible. Her loving is so powerful. Simply unavoidable. Whoa. The trend is irreversible. The woman is invincible. She's a natural law, and she leaves me in awe. She deserves the applause. I surrender because she used to look good to me, but now I find her simply irresistible. Simply irresistible. Simply irresistible. There's no telling where the money went. Simply irresistible. She's all mine. There's no other way to go. She's unavoidable and back against the wall. She gives me feelings that I never felt before. I'm breaking promises, she's breaking every law. She used to look good to me, now I find her simply irresistible. There's no telling where the money went. Simply irresistible. There's no other way to go. The methods are inscrutable. The proof is irrefutable. She's so completely kissable. Our lives are indivisible. Yeah, yeah. She's a crazy wind dog, she's a powerful force. You're about to conform when there's no other course. She used to look good to me, but now I find her simply irresistible. There's no telling where the money went. Simply irresistible. There's no other way to go. Simply irresistible. There's no telling where the money went. Simply irresistible. There's no other way to go.
All right. Welcome to Stab Comedy Theater. It's time for lolgbt plus presents Say Yes. Please welcome, already on stage, 2/3 of the panel Say Yes.
Every time. Oh, it's like a dick to the face every time. Just hits you hard. Okay, hi. My name is Suzette Vanetti, and this is Say Yes, and with me is Katana Ray.
Hi, sorry, I'm trying to get untangled here.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
That's my own fault.
It's okay, Rapunzel.
Here we go.
Oh, now see, do you guys? Okay, is this just me? If I'm like, do I want water? Or do I want Dr. Pepper? And then I'm like, I want water. And then I see someone else drinking Dr. Pepper, and I'm like, I want a Dr. Pepper. Yeah. Like, do I want water or Dr. Pepper? And then I see you eating pizza, and I'm like, actually, I wanted pizza. That is me too. Thank you. Brenda brought my rings back. You've had them for a month.
Since
yeah.
Vacaville, right?
Well, that exposes me as I really just wear these 11, really, truly, because I've been fine. I haven't needed. There's a couple extras in there, and I bought a couple.
We were at a diner, and then she was just like, and I was like, what? What is that? Like, Suzette's rings. I'm like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah, see, she knows. Like, I'm like, what would be like catastrophic if I didn't have?
I don't know, like a pit, like I don't know. I was just like a shoe, but you have so many shoes.
Right,
So,
I'd be fine.
like if it was me, like my glasses or something.
Yeah.
Or like Manny Petty, she forgot her whole phone, her cell phone. She left it on the bench at Paradise.
I heard.
I'm like, how did you leave your phone? I'm always phone, wallet, keys every single time.
Every time I'm in the bar and somebody leaves their phone or their keys, I'm always like, how? How did you get home? How long did it take you to realize? Because like maybe I'm a dumb bitch who needs to Instagram every 5 seconds, but like I'd notice right away. Like I'd be like, I need to Instagram. Where's my phone? It's in the bar. I better go back in and get it. People come back at like 3 a.m. and they're like, it says my phone's here, and I'm like, it's not. And they're like, but it says it's here, and I'm like, but the bartender's just cleaned everywhere. They're like, but the location said, and I'm like, then it's in the safe, and you'll have to come back at 1 p.m. I'm sorry. I don't know the combination. I really don't, actually. So
I mean, if I knew my phone was safe, I wouldn't mind that much, I guess. But also, like, I need my GPS. I need my music. Everything is just on there all the time. So
Right.
it's like I would fully
You'd
notice.
know
Yeah.
right away. Okay, so your glasses, Manny's phone. I want to start a book of like help the local drag performers 5 their things. Yeah, I'm still like, what would be my purse? That'd be catastrophic for me.
That'd be kind of hard for you to leave, though. It has to be something kind of small that you would just leave somewhere that someone would forget.
You'd be surprised how often I just that thing is just left. Like it's a miracle no one's ever like when we did brunch at Badlands. I just used to leave it upstairs. Like you know that gap between like brunch would end at what like 3:30 and the night show would start at 8, and it just sit there for 5 hours. I'm like, no one's gonna mess with it. It's my purse.
Mm-hmm.
Very trustworthy.
Yeah. I love your faith in humanity.
Or it's my faith in like people knowing it's mine.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
It
Like, oh,
is.
that's purse, just left it there.
Yeah, I'm like, where is actually? I think my phone is in my car. Okay, I am. See, but I got curious. Now I want it.
No, is it in your phone? Is it your phone is in your car?
My phone's in my car.
For sure. Do you have it like up on like a GPS thing?
Well, now I just want to make sure my car's locked. Yeah.
Careful
Thank
of
you.
your Coke. Oh,
Brenda's
it's not
the
open.
best. Brenda is.
She's like, oops, I left your keys in my purse. Sorry.
While she's not here, I want to talk because I don't want to embarrass her. But she saved Vacaville Pride.
Oh, because she was the DJ and
She was the
everything,
DJ,
right?
yeah. And that guy with the speakers, he also saved it. And she still hasn't been paid. And I'm like, but she was the DJ.
You want to give some context to that story?
So okay, yes.
So Vacaville Pride, let's
Vacaville
picture
Pride.
it.
So last month we all talked about Pride and like who should perform at Pride and all that. I'm like, when can I put these on? Eventually someone will talk long enough. Why am I even wearing
wait till
bangles?
Helen gets here, yeah.
Why am I wearing? Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, the bangles are just for noise at this point. Anyway, so we all did Vacaville Pride, and the DJ's equipment wouldn't work, and he had kind of a heat stroke situation, and so we had no music. So we were just kind of like, what are we going to do? And I was kind of like running point trying to figure it out. And I was like, go to Costco. And they did. But then they came back empty handed. Long story. But I'm not the bitch that's like, okay. I'm like, why did you? I told you to go to Costco and get speakers. Why did you come back empty handed? But anyway, Brenda ended up DJing and this guy loaned us all of his equipment. And I'm like, they should get paid. Because whoever had the equipment would have gotten paid initially, and whoever DJ'd would have gotten. Okay. So I'm not crazy. Okay.
Yeah, especially since the DJ is he from Vacaville or?
He is from Vacaville.
So like he was already there. He didn't really do anything. So did he get paid?
Oh, I don't know. But Brenda should have. Oh, it's Helen. I can put on rings now. Helen DeVille.
Yeah, I felt kind of bad because I shut up and I was just like, okay, there's no music. That's fine. Like I was not phased. I was like, it's fine.
I should have told her where my phone was.
She's all just scavenging.
No,
Yeah.
she really is out there like, I'm looking for Suzette's phone. And I'm like,
It's in the
in
middle
this
under the
abandoned
radio.
car? It's crazy.
That is not an abandoned car. It's just a car with no front end.
Have you seen that car?
I have. I
That's
drive
an
that
abandoned
car.
car.
It's not an
Why?
abandoned car. I'm getting a new car.
You're so
Anyway.
close. It's like reality.
I know. I told them this. I was like, do you want to sit like right in the splash
Did
zone?
you
I like
close?
it.
I did. I closed. Yeah.
Oh.
I wouldn't forget anything. I was like, I hope I didn't forget to lock up.
Oh, use
something.
context there.
Oh, I close. Well, usually I'm in drag. I'm a drag queen too. Don't worry. But
When
I
I
work.
walked in the door, I thought that was you sitting there.
Oh, it is.
Okay. Hi.
I'm master projecting from the back of the room.
She couldn't
Sorry.
No, I work at the mall, so I had to close at 9. So I closed at 9. I live in Stockton, so I closed. Drove to get talks, and then we drove straight here. Or actually, get gas at Flag City, and then I got here. And I got here right when Suzette got here.
Me too.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Hey,
You're just trying to make an entrance.
No, you
we
hustled.
just got done. I hustled.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Okay, so also with us is Helen Heels.
Hi.
And I guess that's probably enough small talk because Helen's here, so we can just start the topic.
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Big talk.
All right, so the topic today is drag family friendly?
Are you gonna start?
I'm just checking to see if I'm missing a ring.
Do you keep track of how many
What are you,
wear?
the Lord of the Rings? What the hell?
She's like Chris Angel. It's just
You,
like,
you performed with me as much as anyone has,
I
anyone else
know.
in humanity.
No.
You just don't look at my fingers.
No.
That's fine.
It's the hands that give it away.
I love how you wear rings and they don't wear nails. It's funny.
You know, I was gonna paint them before I got here, but
She
Are you
goes, you
missing-
like
are you-
my
is-
fingers?
is this
And it's like,
missing a
ah!
Stone.
It's like you seen Robin Hood when when he kisses the gems off the rings. someone giving you a tip was like, they took their.
That is how it happened. I can't remember who it was, but it was a man.
It's the
It was
cartoon,
green
right?
spandex. It was
We
green
go,
spandex.
"Oh!" That's
No, I'll
hilarious.
just do the show with my nails down, rings up. Okay, so is drag family friendly? And thank you so much, crowd, for joining us.
You're welcome.
I know,
Really
thank you.
appreciate you guys being here. Did you come for anyone in particular? Okay,
Chill.
just us and the show. Awesome. Is it your first drag show ever?
No, I seen you at Makeup and Mimosas.
Okay, okay,
That's fine.
okay. So then when we were talking about brunch at Badlands, you knew what we were talking about.
Kind of. Yeah, it's the same kind
Oh,
of.
you saw Makeup and Mimosas at Punchline.
Mother's Day.
Oh, okay, all right. Yes. Well, thank you. I was gonna make a point of notice
Were you there too?
Yeah.
that we are no longer at Badlands for Makeup and
Yes.
Mimosas, but remind me to
No,
show
you're
you some
on.
posters.
My mic's low.
Well, it's,
No, you can't only hear it until
we set it up for
you
Apple.
hear
There's
it.
a
You
screen.
hear it
Oh.
more.
Yeah, yeah.
For Apple.
So sorry, you got Apple's.
I got apples.
You got
volume.
Apple's volume. Yeah, that was a safety precaution for when she comes
Hi.
in. Oh.
It's Apple. Did you guys know this was happening?
I didn't know what was happening.
Oh.
I was like, is Apple coming? They're like, no. That's why Helen's doing it. I'm like, oh, Helen's doing it.
Yeah, because I was gonna sit and watch and just
Yeah.
jeer from the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Boo! Put a
We're
wig
talking.
on.
We're just talking about how Manny left her phone at the bar, and so
What?
Helen had to go to my house to pick up Manny's phone to bring it here. Did she ever get it? Did she get it?
Yes. Okay, but I did something worse.
What?
I know we're off topic. When I collected it from that point on, when you were like looking at me all grumpy, like get out of my room.
I had just woke up. It was like 2 p.m.
She had just
and
woke up. I literally filmed the entire day. I just got on her phone and I was like, I'm gonna go get gas. This is me getting a haircut. Just got my eyebrows done, and then I involved Mud and the rest of the cast. So when she goes home, she's gonna have like 40 minutes of footage.
Oh wow,
So
like Blair Witch.
she woke both of us up today.
I did.
Yeah.
Well, I knew that was gonna happen. I just was like, I don't know. It was fully like in the afternoon. I was sprawled out on the floor, and I just hear her come
It's that
in.
kind of night, huh?
Well, like I have a loft bed, so like it's like a bunk bed, and it's like it gets so fucking hot. Like you know how heat rises, so like
I do.
sometimes I'll just wake up and it's just like it's not worth it. So I'll just stay on the ground with the fan on me.
I was hoping it was more fun
Oh.
with someone else.
I mean, there was someone there. That's why I didn't
Oh.
sleep till like 5, but it was very not that. It wasn't that crazy.
It wasn't that hot. Okay, so this seems off topic to you, but what's the one thing that if there was a children's book and it was like, oh no, Helen can't perform without her, help her find them?
Gloves.
That's what I was thinking.
No, because
I was gonna.
Oh,
I didn't want to say it, but
mirroring reality. I emptied out my bag like right before I took off to Sacramento, and I just put in like the clothes I was gonna wear for tonight. You saw my outfits, right? Yeah, cute, right? Fierce. Forgot to pack gloves,
okay, why don't they just live in
we
your
should just
bag?
have like a
and
glove.
those are the ones that I had in the bag, and I was like, well, there it is. I do have bags of gloves.
I think we just go through gloves. So that's why when Party City closed, I was trying to get all the gloves so I can just have them like just
For her?
No, for me.
Oh, okay.
You get a glove. You get a glove.
No, just you. I
But-
would. That is not weird. If I had a bag of gloves for Helen in my suitcase, that would not be weird.
But it was crazy because I asked every single performer. I was like, do you have anything like a glove or whatever for this look? And they were like, no.
It was like a long black glove.
Just anything.
Oh.
I eventually
Sometimes
had to
you
wear
need
like
one.
pleather gloves with this like fringy rhinestoned outfit, and I was like, yeah, pleather gloves go. That works.
No, gloves can make or break an outfit for me.
They
It's like,
can. Well,
yeah, it just
Yeah.
makes it look more streamlined.
I heard it too.
And we were talking about how
It's my phone.
when
Where
we're
is
at-
it?
after
No, I'm kidding. No, not my phone.
after Vacaville when we discovered that Brenda still had her rings like an hour after the fact.
Yeah.
And then we're like joking like, oh, she can't perform without her rings. What are you gonna do? So we're like, what's something that would you forgot that would be like, oh shit, we have to
okay.
go back and get it.
And
And
for
we
me,
couldn't
it's
think of
definitely
anything.
not shoes. We'd established that.
And for you, it's
Glasses.
You
Yeah,
can't see
yeah.
without my glasses.
The
Did
bee
you make the
stings.
joke already?
What?
No.
You said the joke.
I know.
Have you seen My Girl? Have you seen My Girl?
Have you seen My Girl? It was
Have
a
you
movie
seen
from
it?
the 80s.
Where Macaulay Culkin dies. From,
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Huh? It's been a while.
This
Spoiler
is,
alert, he dies.
this is going to make sense to nobody at all, but maybe Jesse and anybody that's been watching Stab All Night, but he dies from micro sores. Sorry.
Microsores.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I was going to tie that in somewhere.
He just
Thank you.
laughed.
Thank you, fake.
Microsaurs.
Thank you, fake Katana. Thank you. Okay, so back to
My stunt
The
double.
topic.
the topic. Or are you the stunt
Good
double?
morning.
I don't know. It could be.
Who's the main character?
It's like Black
You drank
Mirror.
too much and you came here?
This is
What kind of
a
torture
weird,
is this? This is a
This is
birthday?
a weird show for being lit.
on a Friday night.
Jack in the Box is down the street. You should have like got a burger to come in here or something. Do you have coffee in the back?
You need a Brenda.
Some chips.
You do.
Don't do it.
How many fingers am I holding?
You're
up?
mine.
Close enough.
Okay, well, sorry that you're lit. Happy birthday. How old are you? 32. You don't
You
look
look
it. Very good
great.
for you.
You have
Oh, wait.
6
Oh,
kids
wait.
at once?
I mean, I hope so.
At once.
I hope you're not keeping a couple in there. Like,
Give it up for
she's
the
like,
Octomom.
she.
Yeah, she's a goddess.
Wait, are you mixed? What are you?
You hoppa.
Okay, it's like a sixth sense. Like Happas know each other. I feel like I'm white and Japanese. Yeah.
What do you call it when someone's Hmong and white? Do you have like a nickname for it? What? Okay.
She's like a Tesla.
A Tesla.
Am I wrong?
Well, some people
You made her snort.
some people use Hapa for other.
Oh, we
reasons.
love
Oh,
May.
I love May.
May's,
She's
one-
half
May's
a
my
man.
drag aunt.
Yeah. Can you guess which half?
Oh my god, it's my favorite joke.
It is.
Okay, so the topic
Can you guess which
Okay.
one?
is drag family friendly. So okay,
Do you want to start or do you
We'll do
want
it
me
quick.
to start?
We'll do it quick. Well, you always start.
Okay.
Are we, well, there's like,
We go Hebrew.
There's like the grand question, but then we kind of break it down sometimes
Okay.
depending on what it is. Like
I'm
I think
virgin.
as like a main like broad statement, drag can be family friendly. I don't think it has to be, and it's not always, but it's possible to be family friendly.
So
And I'll go into detail after.
So maybe.
Maybe,
Yeah.
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 Yes
okay.
and no. Sorta, kinda.
I mean, Yeah, maybe is the right answer. I'm gonna say yes though, just because I'm gonna argue hard for the yes side. But there are times when it's no, like you're saying. But
Say
what,
yes.
it's Jewish. Situational.
I
Oh.
heard
I
Jewish
thought
too.
Jewish
Okay.
too. I thought you said that's such a Jewish.
Well, that's
answer.
like okay. So that's actually like a joke for Jews is like that you say like on this hand drag is okay for kids, but on this hand drag is not okay for kids. But on this hand drag is sometimes okay for kids. But on this and it's like Rabbi, how many hands do you have? So, but not many people get that one. But we heard Jewish. Okay.
Yes, I agree. I was joking with you earlier.
Oh, okay.
She wanted me to say no, but
I didn't want you to say no. You said you were gonna
I
say
have
no.
an opinion that I hope is agreeable, and I'll get to it. But yes, I think. Did you bring it up for everybody?
No, I was gonna say no one can unless it's Mike. No
Um,
one can hear on this.
I think that it's possible for shows to be family friendly, and I think that there are spaces and places and times and everything for that for them.
Name names.
Pixie Woods.
No, I was gonna say name names of people that shouldn't be family friendly.
That should be family friendly.
Shouldn't be.
You.
We usually like
No, I'm kidding.
She's
break it
known as the
down.
blow up doll of drag.
I am. Yeah.
I don't want any kid having to figure out what the fuck that is this early.
I don't say that in front of kids.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but that's how you're always introduced.
That's how
I
Apple
don't think
introduces
I don't think
me.
I've ever heard her introduced as the blow up doll.
She
of drag.
just posted herself on Instagram
It did
as
look-
a blow up
it
doll.
looks like
True,
a
I
blow-up
don't pay
doll.
attention.
All right.
I would show you guys, but we don't know where my phone is.
I guess I don't pay attention to what other people get introduced as. Oh,
Apple,
does it.
yeah, every time. If Geppetto made a blow-up doll and it turned into a real girl instead of a wooden boy, then it would be Suzette every time, like without fail.
Now I'm gonna listen for it next time.
And what? Oh, and Zoe Deschanel of drag, yeah.
She was on Drag Race.
Who's
today.
that girl?
Was she? I didn't
Yeah,
watch
she
the
was
episode yet.
She was a guest judge.
I wonder if Apple thought it was me.
No.
Hmm.
No.
Okay,
Not at
so
all.
okay, so then.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay. Now we know.
Mystery solved.
If we can go home. Sorry, inside joke. Microsores, they hurt.
Stop.
Okay, if I say microsores, how do you spelling the word sores?
SAURUS.
And you?
Saurus.
Sores.
Yeah, microsores.
Well, I guess I might as well do it.
SORES.
SORES. Yeah. And this. Yeah.
Okay, so see, it is split.
No, it's not. We just spelled it the same way.
No, you spelled it like dinosaur, and she spelled it
It was a
like...
joke.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought this was a comedy venue. Am I wrong? I said SORES.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. She said it as you were asking me. So.
And she's like, I don't know what's happening. This is not fun when you're drunk.
She's
Yeah.
a weird fucking CVS. What
Okay,
the hell
you
are
have
we?
6 kids. Okay, here, you have to hand her your mic. Like, just hold it out so because no one can hear. Right, not at the same time. Okay, so would you let your kids go to a drag show?
I would.
Yeah.
I would.
No, for sure.
Have they been to a drag show?
Okay.
What's the youngest? What's the oldest? Or just name them all down.
Okay. 13, 10, 9. I got to, it's hard. There's a lot.
There's 6.
Yeah. 6. And then 2 and a 11-month-old.
Oh.
You just had a baby less than a year ago. You look great. Most people want like a new tattoo. You're like, another baby.
No, she said she's swallowing the next one. She does not want any more babies. You missed that. It's a comedy venue. Laugh.
I know how she's swallowing. Okay. All right. Which one's your favorite? Don't answer that. Oh wait, yeah, your kids don't watch this. Which one?
The first. I should have ate all the
Always.
rest. I'm just kidding.
What's their
Except
name?
in my
What is
family,
their
the
name?
last.
So Chance, Sulin, Legion, Adeline, Bonnie. She's the worst one. I should have swallowed her. And Hanson.
Okay, how did you go from like very Asian names to like to Hanson? Like, where did you make the jump there?
Because it's handsome Hanson.
Oh,
That was not an answer, but
That's okay. His name is Robert.
I know. I had like the widest name.
All my kids have an in their name
Oh, that's cute. Okay, what's your last name?
though. Zong. X-I-N-G. Zong.
Zong.
Wow.
Okay. So how do you say the first one's name?
Chance.
The second one's name?
Sulin. It's okay. So it's spelled Xuelynn. So if you pronounce it Hmong, it's Sulen. But to make it easy for everyone, we just say Sulen.
Okay, cute. Okay, cute. Robert.
Okay, so your kids could go to a drag show. Your oldest could actually go to.
My 6-year-old wanted to. We didn't know we were gonna come here.
Right. Sure.
But she was like, "Mom, I want to come with you to your birthday."
Well, I like putting on shows specifically for kids. So we'll get into that too. Okay, so then let's start here. So you said situationally.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so like what do you think is
What's the situation?
what
What's
is
the
the
situation?
what is the most important factor situationally for kids being at a drag show?
Well, for me, it's like drag is as vague as a term as like musician. It's like, yes, you can have music that's appropriate for kids. You can do anything, but there's also like artists you probably wouldn't want kids to listen to,
Absolutely.
at least till they get older, maybe.
like
But like,
Slater.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know I listen to like music I probably shouldn't listen to when I was younger, but like, it's not like something that like it's hard because like I don't think many forms of art are as like attacked for trying to be like kid friendly or trying to groom kids or like all that stuff. So for me, I'm like, I'd rather like just not be like part of it and be like, it's fine. Like kids don't have to come to the drag show. It's fine. I'm not gunning for kids to come to a drag show or whatever. Like if they want to bring, I've always thought like if it's a pride event and it's a family open all ages event, people are more than welcome to bring kids, but also they should be kind of conscious of what happens at certain prides. I think prides have gotten a lot more family friendly over the years. I actually prefer like the festival style prides now, more so than like the kind of outdoor party rave style. Like when I grew up going, like even when I was 16, going to SF Pride, like I should not have been going. That's not appropriate. Like, you know, there's this like, I don't know. It depends on what you think is like inappropriate or what's appropriate.
Well, okay, so we like we just touched on, we all did Vacaville Pride.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were thinking of your number, your look, all that, did you take into consideration like kids will be there?
Yeah, it's kind of like if whenever I see like kids at like a Lady Gaga concert or something like that, like I just think it's interesting that they would bring their kids when like you know it's not going to be 100%, but I'll be like, I'll do like the PG, like G-rated version of that,
Of the song
or something,
the look?
or just like the general, like anything that's like off the radio. Like
Okay.
I'll do a radio edit or something. I'm not gonna do like a WAP like pussy talk mix or something like that.
Nobody told Rose that.
At Vacaville Pride?
Yeah.
Bitch.
What'd she do?
She did.
Everything. A kid literally walked by her and she was like, "Bitch."
Well,
I mean, it's funny to us, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, she is younger, so maybe she's, maybe she thinks about kids differently than we do, as ancient, decrepit people.
I know you're looking at her. I know you're not looking this way.
You are almost as
I
old
am
as
young
I am.
and spry.
Okay, so why don't you answer?
Can I have some chips?
Okay,
and
I'll
drink?
answer. Cool. So
I'll pay you back.
I think that like I love doing shows. Like I like to put on shows specifically for children, like and produce. But that is a different. Like I like to put a movie rating on it. Like this is a G show. This is a PG-13 show. I don't put it if it's an adult show or a drag brunch or anything, because why would you do that? It's just a drag show.
Some candy.
But when you're doing a show and like that's something that like Pocket and I have done some kid shows, and I'm like,
was there a fly in my head just chilling
No.
there? Okay,
No.
because I felt like there was something on my head. I was like,
it was the sniper rifle from the Proud Boys I was talking about. Yeah, it was the red
no,
dot.
that was Pocket sniping me from asking if you got paid.
No. But so I think that's important when I do little kid shows, and then I do when I'm doing a Pride event. Like I'm like, okay, this needs to be all ages, because for me, all ages means something different from kids or different from just a regular like show at the bar where I know everyone's going to be 21. What I've found though is in doing those shows, if it's a song on TikTok, and you have kids, so if it's a song on TikTok, I can do it. I should just do the clean version. So like I did. I think the one that went over the best with parents was I did A B C D E F U, except the little kid version is A B C D E Forget You, and like the parents were so happy and so excited when that came on, and then they were like equally happy when I didn't say like fuck you. So like I think that's it's like, you know how some cartoons are good for like kids and good for adults.
Yeah, like the innuendos are
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that. And then I was hosting it was Vacaville Pride. And I was making jokes, and I was like, I don't know if these are okay for little kids. But the parents were like, nope, they're fine. Keep going. Like, okay.
I genuinely think it also depends. Like, if I don't have kids, I'm 24, so I don't have any. I have nieces and nephews, but in my opinion, I feel as though, personally, I would look up who the drag artists are going to be that are at the show, because if particularly one has a show or content in their show that I don't think my kid should be watching, then of course. But like, for the most part, I feel like drag shows are very, to me, I think they're family. I've been watching drag shows since like my whole life, whether that's RuPaul's Drag Race or whether it was when I was in college watching them. But for me, that's just my personal point of view. I think that
I feel like the more you educate them, I mean, they're gonna, why not from your parent and not from us, like somewhere else and going out there, you know?
Right. I think you're right. Like I think the thing is, like, with all things, with music, with movies, with drag.
I
like,
mean,
parents,
I just
parents
won't
need
let
to
them
parent.
watch like 365 days. I won't let them watch that.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, it's on Netflix. You need to watch it. It's like sex on the
That's
boat
why I don't know
and
what
all.
it is.
Yeah. So I wouldn't let
It's
them
been
watch.
like 1,285 days since I had sex. Actually.
No, but yeah.
500. Final night of rent.
Yeah.
No, I think because that's what I always think is, like, parents need to parent. Like, it's what's up. Yeah, I've met your daughter, and both your okay.
They cuss.
Oh, okay.
They cuss in front of their kids.
I was like, I don't know what that means. You're very nautical. You swim. Parents need to parent, right? And like, if I am lucky enough to have a kid, then obviously I'm in charge of what the kid sees and doesn't see, and what media and what songs. And like, the other thing is, like, sometimes kids are seeing things they shouldn't anyway. So I think it's better to expose kids to what you want to expose them to. Right.
Because I let my 13-year-old watch Jeffrey Dahmer. You know, I want him to be educated.
And your 13-year-old is going to start killing people and eating them.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I grew up watching South Park and shit like that, and
I
then
know,
my
but
mom,
look what happened.
and then my mom hated, yeah, but my mom hated it. Just like, don't tell anyone to let you watch this. And like, I won't, but I'm like, sometimes being exposed to like dirty things and things earlier on, you kind of learn like, oh yeah, that's kind of gross, or like,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
my
gonna do
thing.
that, because
Right.
like, you kind of get it out of your system, like
The mystery is gone.
yeah. But when you meet someone who's a little bit older and they're like, oh, I can cuss now, they're like, fuck that shit, motherfucker, or whatever. I'm like, and it's like, okay, like they're just trying to get it all out. Like I remember when I transferred from saying hecka to hella as like a sixth
Ooh.
grader, I had to like hella. I had to start saying it to it started becoming like natural for me to say hella instead of hecka. So I
she
had to
says
make
Helen.
it happen.
So do you change what you do if there are going to be kids present?
Yeah, of course. I have hosted many family-friendly children's and drag show, all separate. I find them all to be very separate. But I'm like her, is that nowadays kids surprise me more than I want to surprise them. Like, their parents will be like, oh yeah, I just called them a little shit right now. Like, they slammed the door. So you can say whatever you want to say. And I'm like, I don't want to say that, but okay. How are you little fuckers doing? Like, if I feel like the consensus of the crowd is there, and also I think that people need to know that at certain spaces, especially cultural spaces like Pride festivals and Pride events that are like, hey, he's opening soda too, stuff like that, there is an unspoken understanding that if you brought your kids there, that you know what's going to happen no matter what, because you can't, if you want them to not be exposed to that, you take them to a kids park. If you want them to, right, if you want to culturally expose them, just like with what happened to her in South Park, is that they learn it, they see it, and then it's like, whatever, my mom, dad, brother, sister, cousin, whatever says that at home. So it's nothing different. But for me, I just try to limit it. I think it's just good practice to find your limitations so that you don't become too vulgar, too crass, you don't turn off audiences, you don't say the wrong things. As an example, this isn't live, is it?
Yeah.
It's streaming live.
Damn.
Yeah, I know, because I've already gotten feedback.
Damn. As an example, there was a performer at a recent Pride festival, and they were not vetted. and they are known to pop off at the mouth. And as soon as they got on the mic, they literally just started spewing like transphobic comments and racial comments.
Where is this?
I'm not going to say where.
Will you tell me off
But
screen?
it was at a Pride festival.
It was at a Pride locally. And they did, the host knew that the performer themselves was known for being a little too honest or vocal. And then they were doing it because they were trying to like pay their respects to the older communities. And that's great. But if you don't vet your performers to see what it is that they're going to say, there was a giant line of teens and kids. And it's one thing to say, you're all little fuckers. And everybody's like, yeah! It's another thing to call them like transphobic names, invalidate their experience and stuff like that, all in the name of comedy and everybody lightening up. Like
I know who exactly.
No,
you know who I'm
that-
talking about, yeah.
I definitely don't know yet, but I want to. But like that's something that I see a lot. I don't go to a lot of open mics anymore in comedy, but a lot of people go to open mics and they do think they say transphobic or racist, or they'll make like pedophilia or incest jokes, and they're like, "What? It's comedy, lighten up." And it's like, no, that's not comedy. Like,
But shows like that, like as an
shows like
for
open
instance, like Bianca Del Rio, people know that she is an insult comic. That the comedy brand that she brings is meant to offend. It is meant to be dated. It is meant
well, that's
to do all
different
that.
than what I'm talking about, though. That's a
No, but
professional.
I know, but what I'm
Okay,
saying is that
okay.
like, but people need to know what they're getting into, and open mic people need to understand the audience that they're talking to.
Well, okay.
From their, well, I know, but that's a learning lesson for them as
Yeah.
comics.
Yeah, 'cause-
and it's up to people within the community to not be like, well, fuck them because not you, fuck them because they did this and that. It is up to fellow comedians to say, I would like to let you know that the verbiage you use, whatever, you are free to use that. That is your right to say that. Just want to let you know you have just now excluded an entire community because they do not agree. And if you're going to say stuff like that, you need to be that like you. It's me. It's a strong vibration.
Yeah, I felt it all the way over here.
Yeah, I'm lonely, so that's what gets me. Okay. So
That's inappropriate.
they just need to like. I think certain comedians need to know where to draw the line, and I also think they need to know when to tell the audience what they're in for, because they never know.
It's really. I went to a queer mic in Woodland. No, not Woodland. Walnut Creek.
Same shit.
Yeah, it starts with W, and it was a queer mic, and a straight guy was there, and he was doing all these like really offensive transphobic jokes, and none of us knew what to do. And honestly, I think that's the host can like cut them off, but the host was like, "Hey, man, stop." And then the owner was like booing him, but he was just so tone deaf. He just kept doing it, and then
Didn't that happen at your show too?
Where?
at Punchline.
Yeah.
Well, he says he's not being transphobic. No, I know.
People cannot say I'm not being transphobic. People cannot say that for themselves. Especially if that's not their lived experience, they cannot say that.
Well, I didn't hear what he was saying at that show because I was changing. So
But you slapped him upside the head, right?
no,
Are you gonna book him again?
that is a weird question to ask me right there.
It's not. It's a
Yeah.
valid question.
That is a weird question. Most of his material is not like he was trying out new stuff, and he had just been through a very public situation where the same comments got the same reaction. So he's figuring that situation out. I don't know. That it is. I think that brings up the next question. It is up to the bookers when there's. I want to make sure I said bookers and not boogers.
Producers.
Yeah,
up to the
it is up
boogers.
to the producer and the people booking the show to understand who they're booking, especially when it comes to kid shows. Like when I book.
I don't want that. I don't want that.
What you are just a lot today.
Up to the bookers.
It's up to the bookers. They're. Oh no,
Sorry.
it's not worth it.
Sometimes you feel
Peanut
like a nut.
butter, maybe.
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
So,
Happy
like,
birthday.
I think there are performers that I think of first when I think of a kid's show, and I don't think there's anybody that I'm like, Absolutely not. I'll tell you one thing I think of as a person who books a kid show is I think of like, okay, are there going to be protesters? And who do I not want engaging with the protesters? Because some drag performers live for that. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. Like, live your life if you want to engage with protesters. I love trolling trolls online, but I don't want to give Republican, conservative, right-wing media any sound bites or clips. What do you want to say?
I have something
Jump
to say
in.
to that. Well, I have something to say to that, but I want to know if you're open to feedback.
Okay, yeah. I mean, is it going to be something that's awkward on live?
Are you talking about like
Screen?
responding to protesters or
No, just like an example.
Okay.
Is,
I'm not beyond reproach.
Huh?
Yes, I'm open to feedback.
Yeah.
Okay.
First of all, I want everybody to be very clear. This is my bitch. Love her. Love everything she produces. She is one of a kind, and she's the one and only, and we only want one of her. But I think that certain producers and I think certain performers need to also know when to step back, step away, and also not instigate certain situations that might put other people at harm, that they don't have to go the extra mile. And as a person who has been a youth coordinator in my job for 8 years, and a person who has worked specifically with children for 15 plus years, and I'm sure the parents feel the same way because I don't have any kids, but you will go that extra length to make sure that you or a child is protected, even if it's not your child, right? Like you would just jump in front of whatever. I don't like it when drag producers or drag queens or drag kings will still go the extra mile to be like, you know what? There are people that are going to be there and they're going to be mad and we're going to do it anyway and da-da-da-da-da-da. When they don't have to, if the measure is that extreme. And there's been instances, and there's been local instances, where people will go ahead and take that extra step and they don't have to.
So I certainly am an instigator and a troublemaker. And I push boundaries.
Yep.
Definitely. I'll admit to all that. But I'm not sure exactly which show you're talking about. I know I did the one in Woodland for sure this time. I went to that one. But all the other performers retreated.
And that's what I'm talking about. Is like when
but hold on, because I didn't produce that show.
No, but you hosted it.
Only because no one else was there.
But when I feel like it's like a read the room or take the cue situation, is when other drag performers who are lived in that experience.
Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is when they are in that lived experience as being LGBT members, when they exit stage left, it's a cue for people who don't have that threat on a regular basis to also exit stage left, just to make sure. Well, just to make sure. Yeah, of course, kids and parents are going to show up because they want that experience, but there are safer ways and there are more strategic and logistic ways to get it done rather than, oh my God, why is she calling me?
Well, let me explain. I mean, this is kind of off topic, but it was a children's event, so I guess this is kind of on topic too. So all the other performers for this particular show retreated from the show and backed out of the show due to threat, because all across the national right-wing Proud Boy Twitter, whatever they call them, I don't care, you're fine, throw it at me. Like they were saying they were going to attack the show. And I woke up at, I don't know, whenever Helen woke me up today, 2:00. And I had messages that were like, hey, it was from a couple of drag kings that live in that area, in the Woodland area. And they were like, would you come do the show? We're still going to go. So at that point, I understand what you're saying, but I'm like, okay, people are going to do that show. Those drag kings are going to do that show. The venue's still expecting people. I guess I don't understand why it was bad that I did it.
How would you have felt if a kid got hurt?
Well, there were no kids there.
How would you have felt if an adult got hurt?
Well, I was pepper sprayed.
That's what I mean.
But I put myself in front of everybody.
But since everybody else exited, and because you decided to stay to be resilient, which is great for the cause, but you are not an LGBT member. And because of that, if they knew that there were no drag performers going, nobody would go. And there was no threat of harm.
No, there were going to be people there because they didn't know if we were going to be there.
But in that case, it wasn't a drag show.
But
it would have been like a place of...
But the Proud Boys wouldn't have known.
Did they pepper spray anybody else?
Yeah. Well, actually, the pepper spray came from inside. It was friendly fire.
What I'm saying is, like, you can take the extra steps to make sure everybody else is safer. Had there been kids there?
That's... Okay, hold on. Because I did take extra steps.
There were no kids there?
There were no kids there.
What was it for then?
It was billed as a family-friendly, kid-inclusive show.
So kids could have been there.
Kids could have been there, but no kids actually came.
So kids could have been there.
Kids
That's my
could have
point.
been there.
We never know. Like for our Pixie Woods show, it was how much you were there. 88% were adults.
Yeah, there's
And
like 10 actual children.
There was like there was very little kids, but we ended up having to pay for all the extra security, the extra measures. Plus, you had to have jetted all the way to the back of the park to even get to anybody. But extra measures were taken, and we knew that if there was that kind of immediate threat, we had already secured what was happening. But also for us, we knew that there was obstacles. But you got sprayed.
That is something that I've taken into consideration since then, because after that is when so a little bit of context. We used to host a show here that was for underage performers, because if you're under 21 and you want to perform in drag, you can't, because you can't go into bar. Actually, legally in California you can, but then you have to go right out. So you can't, because bars don't want to deal with that and try to figure out who in drag is 21 and who's not. So that had some attendees that were under 21. So that's kind of where I was like, this sucks. They can't see drag unless there's somewhere they can go into. So then I wanted to produce children's shows. And so when I have done a G-rated show, I've done 2 or 3 of those and a couple PG-13 shows, I have made sure that it was either inside, there was security, that police had been informed, because they can be there to block people. I'm not saying whether or not I like police. I'm just saying if there are going to be protesters and you're a private citizen, it's in your best interest to...
Were they there?
Were the police there?
Yeah.
So the timeline of what happened in Woodland is this. I got there at 7:30, 7 o'clock. The show was supposed to start at 6.
In the night?
In the night.
Okay.
In the evening. Yes. So I was a little bit late, but I didn't know until I woke up I was supposed to be there. So that's kind of a fast turnaround to be like, oh, sure. And I was like, what kind of, because the DJ pulled out too, because he was scared. So I was like, okay, so what are we working with sound-wise? And they were like, handheld Bluetooth. And I was like, not for a drag show, because I'm burned from doing parking lot brunches for a year with speakers where you could hear the shoes over the sound. Right?
Drag him.
I'm not dragging him specifically. It was a situation. It was COVID.
No, it was.
That was not him. That was not the DJ.
Drag him.
He's watching the show. I'm not dragging you.
He's literally watching, and he already.
I'm not
messaged me about
dragging
what
you.
I said earlier.
It's the situation. It was all the shows outside. The speakers, because you're dealing with sound escaping. Like in here, sound is trapped.
Those shows were an experience.
They were an experience.
There was no way.
So I have some PTSD from doing that, because you can literally hear my fan clacking on Becca's videos over the music, and it's like, that's not okay. So I was like, okay. So I had Terran speakers in my garage. So I was like, cool. So I put these huge speakers in my car, and I got in my car and I called a couple of large comedian friends who I was like, okay, this could be an intense situation. So let's, I need you there for protection, right? And I checked with the venue 4 times, I think, because Ashley, the bartender at Depot? Okay, she's a bartender at Depot, and she works out in Woodland, and she knew the bar owner. And I was like, does the venue want this to happen? Because all the performers have backed out. The DJ backed out. I don't want to do this and force this on anybody. That's not my goal. If the venue's still doing it, then my goal is to make sure that it's done correctly and safe, and it's a good representation of what drag could be.
But that's where the opinion's going to just differ.
Sure.
There's no right or wrong for it, but the opinion's just going to differ, because I'm on one side where I regularly, and it's my job. So
that's why I was weirded out when you were like, and I even told Taryn, I was like, Helen said she's arguing no. And she was like, but she does shows for kids.
Yeah. But Taryn agrees with me.
I know.
And
I know.
it's just a situation where, again, it's a call made on behalf of a community.
But that's the thing. I made a call for myself.
That's what I mean. It's a call that you
I
made.
didn't, but the community had already decided. They were there.
But they were there. You don't know if they were there or not because there was a drag show still going on.
I think so. What I was told happened was people got there. They didn't know if there was going to be a show. So they figured they wanted to support the venue anyway because the venue was brave enough to put on a family-friendly drag show in Woodland.
For adults.
Because no kids came, yeah. So my decision was exclusively for me and the people that I brought with me, which were comedians for protection. And I was also thinking about those drag kings and trying to make sure that they had a good experience and they were well represented with sound.
In my world, in my multiverse, if I knew something like that was happening, I would inform the venue this is what I would do, is I would inform the venue, this is not the time or the place. There's an imminent threat. Something happened. So I would just say, we can do this again. It's not like it's going away. It's not like you can't not do anything. And if they were already going, you should have made like extra precautions as a non-performer to be like, I'm there to support you and not exacerbate the situation.
So I'll finish with the timeline of events. So I got there at like 7:30. We did a very little pop-up show, which so we all performed twice, I think, 3 performers. So it was like half an hour maybe. And we were very happy, and there were no bad guys, and we were actually packing up, and that's when they started like prowling around outside. So they actually came to catch people walking back to their cars. And I understand if I had not shown up, maybe people would have left earlier, maybe not. I don't know. I can't say what would have happened, but what I do know is that when there was pepper spray and they were attacking the front of the building, I had just hosted the show. So nobody was listening to the firemen. So I was like, hey, why don't you tell me what you want me to tell them, because they'll listen to me. So I did try to at least be helpful. And if I was going to be a person speaking there, at least help direct people to safety.
How would you handle it in the future?
In the future?
Would you go?
Probably. I'm stupid.
That's not a good look, though. On behalf of drag queens, that's not a good look.
Fair. Some drag queens don't like that I do all ages shows.
That's true.
And I think this is kind of to tie it into the conversation at large, because it feels like it became a trial a little bit.
I just
swear to tell the truth?
I was like, I thought the chicken was lovely. I was just over here just watching. I'm like, I don't have anything. I was not there. I don't mean like. I have something to say. It's like opposite of both y'all opinions. So I'll wait till it gets to my part.
I think there's a couple factors, and I think when they booked the show, because the way it worked that time was an organization booked the show, the venue agreed, the organization booked the performers, right? So when everyone pulled out, and the organization pulled out, and the DJ pulled out, and the performers pulled out, the venue still wanted to do it, and it's a queer-owned venue. So I don't know. I want to support that venue. That's what I want to do. I want to support the venue.
There's so many ways you can support a venue.
Absolutely. There, I can patron them.
You could have exited stage left and said, you know what, venue? I want to support you. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a bunch of my comedy friends. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a comedy night. And I can book the talent. You can book me to be the host. And we will advertise it as a comedy night. We'll charge a cover. We'll put a drink special. And then we'll do it at a different date and time. And I'm going to make it sure that you guys make money because I want to support you as a venue.
It is painful for me to admit this, but a lot of times if people are expecting drag and they get comedy, they are very disappointed.
Well, you would market it as a comedy show. And
you would market it as a comedy show.
And then have drag people there.
I know.
And then
you had a question, love.
I do actually have a question.
Yeah.
Or it was not a question. I want to make a comment.
Sure.
What's to say that whether drag performers show up or not, that they're gonna what do they call it? The Proud Boys.
The Proud Boys
are gonna show up regardless.
You don't know.
You don't know, and that's the thing. And I think that it's very admirable. I didn't want to get my chapstick on it. Sorry.
It's okay.
Admirable
You're sharing with Helen. Go for it.
Show up whether you knew you could potentially get hurt or not. And I think the fact that people were still there regardless if you showed up or not says a lot. It wasn't you that they were there to support. They were showing up for the venue, and the Proud Boys were there to boycott the venue, not you. So I think the fact that you even showed up shouldn't have mattered whether or not that No offense to you. I'm not trying to just.
It's a
diss you in
differing
any way.
opinions.
I just
No one's
think
right or
that
wrong.
It's really not a right or wrong answer because everyone has different opinions. I just think that it's very hard to say that like what you did was wrong because they could have not showed up at all.
Well, and
They
see,
coulda
and
showed
since
up
then,
more people. Who knows? They might have been late because, like, for example, I was late today because I have a sprained ankle and I had to put a boot on, and I totally blew all of our plans out of proportion. Then we ended up at this show. So like, you don't know what happened. They could have meant to be there earlier, and it could have been a way worse situation.
they
than it
might
ended
have
up being,
run
you
out
know?
of gas. I mean, look, they had 7 teeth between the 7 of them, so they might have only had 2 cars. Also, like, we don't know what they have, where they're working with. It's funny actually because that was a Thursday. The Saturday before that, I did Children's Pride out in Rancho Cordova, which the same 7 Proud Boys protested that, and it was a huge thing. And like,
Real nasty haters, right?
I mean, look, I think the thing with all bullies is they have a lot of things that they hate about themselves, and they're
Yeah.
projecting what they hate onto other
Definitely.
people.
I feel like you.
You don't need a mic. You're lovely.
Yeah,
No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I feel like you going was actually resilience, and it shows that your community is not scared of Proud Boys. And what they're doing,
I want to
you
say
know?
that, like, I don't
And
want to
they-
take all these flowers though, because Helen's not wrong. Like,
I mean, like I
it's-
understand your point.
it's everyone's.
and
I think it's
stuff.
everyone's decision to make for
Right.
themselves.
Right, of course.
And Taryn did say you should not go, and I was like,
Mhm.
I have like this, because to me, like, did you have anything else? I don't want to cut you off. Okay, so to me, like, it's cute to do drag and get paid and do brunch and get paid and perform for crowds of people, but at some point, isn't a drag queen's job to stand at the front and of the parade, but not the parade, but like the front of all of the crowd?
No, I agree on that. Like after Pulse happened, I was like, a lot of people were like, this is so out of left field. But I was like, when it came down to people like, I'm scared to go to the club. I'm like, I'm not fucking scared to go to the club. If they're gonna come up to the club and shoot us up, I'm gonna be there. That sounds kind of crazy, but like,
No.
I'm not gonna hide because someone's scared. Like, they're not gonna scare me out of being in my space. It's a little
Right.
bit different. Like we know how we talk about how during prides and like, do all small cities need a pride?
Yes.
And we're like, not necessarily. It's like, do all small venues need a drag show? I don't think they necessarily do. But in the same, like, and you know how we're like, they should collaborate with other prides and make a branch that connects them to something
Yeah.
bigger.
Yeah.
That they have a little bit of like backup or something to fall back on in case of that. So I think in that case, like, I've been to Woodland like twice. It's like Woodland not like a gay friendly place, or like,
It's not as gay friendly as Sacramento.
yeah. So it's like
There's a lot of
it's
work
different.
to
Like
do.
like say in Stockton, like Stockton's not like, amazing for queer people, but it's a lot better than it was like 10 years ago
Right.
or so. But if someone came to like when we did like a drag queen like activity crafting book reading, there's like one person there like, yeah, like I'll go regardless if someone's protesting it, because I feel like we have more of a stance there. It's like, yeah, like we're not all like, but if you're in the bumfuck middle of nowhere, like, you're a little outnumbered out in the woods, you know? It's like, you never know. Like, there are people, obviously, there are queer people, there's trans people everywhere, but I think just to get to, like, to progress into more open, progressive spaces, like, you have to kind of take baby steps, and sometimes, like, in that instance, like, from my perspective, it probably have to be, like, do they have, like, drag shows there anyway, like, period?
No.
So maybe if they had, like, adult drag show there first, maybe, and then have adults go and be like, oh, this isn't as weird as I thought it was, and they would spread the word of mouth, and they'd be like,
Do you think those adults are going to do that though?
I mean, I don't.
I think it would take time.
It takes time, you know. I mean, it's weird. Like, I mean, we've been doing drag at Stockton for 10 years, and people still don't know that there's a drag show going on,
Right.
and it's at a queer venue. And
One of the
it's like-
bartenders actually has no idea. He works the show. No. I think so. It was the same 7 Proud Boys, and they were nasty, and they actually recognized me, and they were like, "You," and I was like, "You guys come into all my shows, my biggest fans. What's up?" So they really were upset to see me there, and there's an element of you don't want to let them win. You want to stand your ground. You want to show them that this is a safe space. This is not a space that you can corrupt with your corrupt values. So again, they were going to do it without me. So I wanted to stand with people, you know, and that, again, I'm not saying I'm right and you're wrong. I totally understand what you're saying. But since then, every time I've done a show, I take precautions. I make sure because after that I had a lesbian motorcycle gang that was like, hey, we have 125 members, and I was like, cool, show up. Because there's only 7 of them, you'll scare the shit out of them. And I make sure police are informed that we're going to be there. I make sure security is paid for, or somebody's there, or it's inside. And I make sure Jesse and I have talked about doing a kid show here, and we're like, okay, what precautions do we need to take? And they don't always show up. What's weird is they don't have kids. That's the weirdest thing, is they're so worried about your kids, but they don't have kids. They're worried about your kid, but they don't have kids. So that's what's weird is but it's also very normal and expected, right? Other people are going to worry about your kids more than they need to. When I did Children's Pride again this year with Liz, did you guys talk about that?
No.
Okay. Yeah, they were there, and I was actually bummed because last year I got like 10. I'm not saying that I was bummed that they were there, like that they weren't. I'm not saying if you're gonna be there, at least give me more material. Like, I'd rather they weren't there at all. But last year they gave me like 10 minutes of material. This year the only thing they gave me was "You'll never be a real human," and I was like, what? Clearly, I am a real human. I'm not a bot. So, like,
Replica. You watch Black Mirror?
You
You watch Black Mirror?
No.
Oh, never mind.
I'm sorry. I need to now so I can get the reference.
It's okay. It's not that great.
But like, I thought they were when we did the shows at the strapping store, the G and the PG-13 show. I thought they were going to show up. They didn't. When we did the show at in Solano County at the Solano County Pride Center, I thought they were going to show up. They didn't. So I think they really are going to go to these big, hyped. They want the publicity. They're divas. These Proud Boys are divas, and they want this. They want the shine. So if it's not big enough, they're not going to be there. So that's and you should still prepare every show like they're going to. But what I've learned is they're really just going to show up when it's good press for them in their own twisted way. You had a
Yes, dear. 2 reminders: Milton Berle, Bugs Bunny, Tootsie. We've had drag for how many years in this
I know.
country?
Mrs.
The other-
Doubtfire.
the whole time.
Yes.
No, I'm kidding.
Yes, my dear. And the other one, Stonewall, who was the first person to throw a brick.
I don't know if she counts as a drag queen.
Well, I think she's
Close enough.
she's a I
Trans
think
woman.
Both. I think she did also perform as a queen, but
I'm just always very careful because not some people don't know that drag queens are not trans women.
not
So I'm
always.
always
Yeah.
right. So I'm very careful to be like,
RuPaul.
you didn't know that?
RuPaul has kind of made
Sorry.
made it harder for people
Hey.
to know that you can be both, but she's been advocating that who said Martha the other day? Martha P. Johnson. Remember Marsha? She was like, anyway, she was a queen, honey. I'm like, yeah, but she was also a trans woman too.
Right. And like, I think it's important to know when someone is a trans woman and not just a drag performer, or when they're just a drag performer and not just a trans woman.
And that's even saying just for like queer people in general knowing their history, but like not to mention cis straight people who it's one thing that we don't know, or like not we, but like our generation of people try to know our history, and the younger people are less and less interested in how we came here and how it became, and so even less so for straight cis people.
Well,
It's
and
like,
right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I mean,
no, it's okay.
I was.
No, you can go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I was talking to someone. We were talking about Stonewall, and they were like, it's a shame that straight people don't know about Stonewall. Do you guys know Stonewall? Okay, it's a shame that people don't know about Stonewall, but no, it's okay. We have a nasty habit in this country of hiding really important things that happened. When they make people look bad, like the Japanese internment camps in World War II, is a huge example. Everything with the black community since the beginning of time is another example. Stonewall, would you like to? You
Sure.
work at a Pride Center?
Yeah, so this is my job. So Marsha P. Johnson is a biracial trans drag performer who that night in 1969, June 28th, 1969, was at the Stonewall Inn and was not performing that night, and she threw a brick. And this was during a riot that was happening back in 1969 in New York City. If you weren't wearing more than 3 articles of clothing that matched your assumed gender, then you could be taken away by police, or you could be interrogated, or you could just be like arrested on the spot and be put into the wagon for a while. So they raided the Stonewall Inn, which was a little bar in New York City, and the LGBT people had enough. They resisted. There was some fighting happening, and eventually they made their way out to the streets, and she took a brick from the area.
She actually just pulled it out of a building.
Yeah, she's that strong. And she threw it and broke some glass, but she was throwing it with the intention, and then a riot broke out and everything like that. So that's why we call it the Stonewall Riots, and that's what kicked off
Pride.
Pride
basically, and that's why we have Pride in June. But just to add some clarity for both those things, and I think so here's what I'm gonna say on the other half of this, is that I think it's very important for people to show up. Because we did Pixie Woods, we had to get extra security. We literally spent over $2,500 getting extra security for nobody to show up.
Yeah.
Like no protesters or nothing. It was the threat that was given during a city hall meeting where people were like, we're going to go and protest. We're going to go and have our people go. And we got one message from a group that was like, well, we're going to go and stand outside and make sure no kids go in. It was just a threat. And she's right. They want to be divas. They want their spotlight time. And this is the climate and the time for them to say something. Because all these years we've had family-friendly shows in the city of Stockton, not one fucking peep. And now all of a sudden it's on the news. People are getting like on TikTok about it, and then they got something to say. But so I do think it's great for people to still show up, show out, be resilient, and make the precautions. I'm glad you're going to make further precautions. My point was that I don't know if at that time it was your call to make in support of the venue or not. I don't know if, and I think this is where me and Taryn agree. And just from like I said, it's close to my heart. It's too close working with kids. If there was even somebody that had an air of breath saying someone's going to go there, even if they just said it on Twitter or wherever, somebody said they're going to go there with a gun and it has a bullet and they're going to shoot whoever's in first sight. In my head, I would not say, well, I still need to show up then. Like my first response would be, I need to make sure that everybody gets the hell out of there, or that there is an armed group of either citizens or peace officers or anything. That would have been my first thought, is to secure that and procure that venue in that way, more than I need to stand up and make a speech and bring comedians. That would have been my thought. And that's me versus your thought process. And again, it is because for me, working in this community space and being an LGBTQ a person versus you making that call is where it's hard for me to side on any part. I'm glad when you go and do stuff for our communities. I'm glad that you're a representation that cisgender heterosexual people can do this art form, and that its drag is valid for everybody. Not all drag is good. Let's not get it twisted. But I think it's important for everybody to have visibility. But it's all about, if the topic at hand is our family-friendly shows, yada yada. And I'm at the point now where, because there's so much heat behind it and fear, Bijou Bentley was crying. Bijou Bentley fully was crying after City Hall, because there were people that were so angry and so mad about us putting on a Disney show, right, where this bitch dresses Elsa. Mm-hmm. People were so mad and so threatening that it made her cry in the car, and it made me cry too.
It's almost like I'd rather just I don't mind them hating for us being gay or whatever. Like I feel like, yeah, like you have the right to protest or be mad about me being gay or whatever. That's fine. But when they start like saying like you're trying to do things to kids, I'm like, I don't fucking like kids. Like I don't.
Okay, so that's what I was gonna get at too, like, with the other part of your question, which is that no, we love putting on shows for kids. They enjoy us as much as we enjoy them. We don't have to do a goddamn thing. We don't have to dance super hard. Mm-hmm. We don't have to do any. We could just go up and they tip us, and it's so cute. But are we out here as drag performers like, I need to do drag for the kids? No, they don't have money. Yeah. They don't. They take.
I mean, to be honest,
I'm just awkward with kids.
You have money?
No, I'm saying I do. I do want to do drag for little kids.
Just for kids, though?
Yeah, not exclusively in my career.
Well, that's what I mean.
But
I
I
don't
want to
think-
have shows that are just aimed
Well,
are G-rated shows.
everybody does. Every drag performer does. But I'm saying that there is no drag performer out there that is like, I exclusively want to do.
No.
Yeah, like,
I'm
rest
doing
of my
drag
life-
because I want to do kids shows. Nobody is saying that.
Isn't that what's Blinky? That's Blinky.
but also,
right?
like, what do we even?
From
What
Pac-Man?
would the goal even be? Like
Yeah, that's drag for little kids.
Teletubbies, the Muppets.
It's
Oh
it's,
yeah, no, totally.
It's the most horrific thing they can think to say.
Yeah, because VeggieTales doesn't have an agenda.
Reality is that like
You know, I didn't know VeggieTales was like a Christian thing until like 10 years later. I was like, this is a biblical thing. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Did you ever watch VeggieTales?
no, it's a
It's
Christian
like
thing.
it's like Bible stories.
Oh, I'm sure.
But I did love Joseph. And
Have
the
you ever
Mystery
eaten
Dreamcoat.
at what's the place?
I love the
everyone-
Prince of
In-N-Out?
Egypt. That was my shit.
Yeah, Prince of
Remember
Egypt.
Prince of
And
Egypt?
Jesus Christ Superstar. That turned me.
I just realized that you were at the Mother's Day brunch and I wore this dress. Yeah. I
was
have
like,
You're
damn,
an outfit
bitch.
repeater, Lizzie
I
McGuire.
have more than
But you look
I
hot.
have more than this. I have both sleeves this time. I have more than just this dress. So I'm sorry. But see, that's what's crazy is like your 13-year-old, almost 14. You could bring him. Like it's at first we didn't
Bring
want
him.
we didn't want to say
You have comp
right.
tickets?
Huh?
You have comp tickets?
We're sold out. We didn't want to say that we did. Oh, absolutely. So at first at Punchline we didn't
Suzette,
want
give her
to.
a ticket.
I don't
not
have
everywhere.
a ticket. We didn't want to say that. We didn't want to promote that 13-year-olds could come because it's 18 and over is the normal rule for the comedy club. But I got so sick of parents asking me, "My kid's 17, can they come? My kid's 16," and I'm like, I am not the parent. I don't care. Like I look and like it's a little bit different if you bring your kid to a drag brunch because if everybody in the room is an adult except your 13-year-old, we're not gonna do safe things for your 13-year-old. That's your job as the parent to make sure that you're okay with them seeing whatever happens.
I mean, if I wasn't, why would I bring him?
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the issue. When people want to like police what other people do with their own kids.
And I think
Right.
that's really what it comes down to is it's
To an extent, you know, like
At the end of the day, you don't have to bring them.
exactly.
yeah, like it depends, you know, like if you're trying to manipulate the child, like, oh, you have to be this person, I want you to be this person. No, if they want to come, they can come.
that's
If they want
parenting.
to be educated, they can get educated. But like saying if a parent was to try to manipulate this child to be something else because that's what they want, then no, you know, or like I just got done finally watching the Gabriel trial, Fernandez trial. So I mean, to an extent, yes, you know, like that's fucked up. You know, you can't do that. You shouldn't be doing this. Like, but that's crazy. You know, they killed their child.
Yeah.
But that wasn't drag queens that killed their child.
Right.
Right, exactly. I'm like, who killed? Let's
And
be clear about who killed who.
Yeah.
Right. Right. And so it's I think that's what it comes down to ultimately is
Taking my child to a drag queen is not going to kill him.
No.
Not going to kill him.
no.
No.
You know what's crazy though? There are parents out there, and I've met them. I'm not kidding you. There are parents out there that are like, I want to take my kid to a drag show because I want people to see that I'm a good parent and I'm teaching my kid all about inclusivity. So, and I'm like, my first question to them is, does your kid want to go to a drag show?
And I've seen that too.
It is the same logic as people saying like, I'm going to throw my kid into the swimming pool because I want them to learn how to swim. Or I'm going to take them on a roller coaster because I want them to get over their fear of heights. It's like, do they want to be thrown in that pool? Have you exposed them to other swimming arenas? Have you let them wade in the pool?
In the water.
Yes, because I was thrown, as a kid, I was thrown into the river.
Oh, I think it's clear that
And
there
that's
is
like
trauma
Mexican.
here.
Is anybody Mexican? You Mexican? Mexican? That is Mexican logic is your Theo picks you up, throws you in, and says, go.
Learn to swim. Learn
No,
to
really?
fly.
Start doggy paddling.
So I think yes, that is. But again, that responsibility falls back onto the parents, not the performers, not the bookers, not the producers.
Right.
And what I will say is, when I did the PG-13 shows in Solano County, there are children who are trans that came, and there are children who are doing drag that came, and there are queer children that came, and so for them to get to go to a show and see adults doing what they want to do or being who they want to be, You can't put a price on that.
No, for sure.
I just feel this is my
this is funny.
This is funny that this is my unpopular opinion, and
Do it.
this might be just because I'm a little bit of like a hipster or whatever, and like more punk at heart or whatever. I'm like, I just don't see the point. This is gonna sound so bad. I don't really see the point of a kid doing drag. I can see the point of a kid dressing up, having fun, playing dress up, performing, having fun, whatever. But so like, what is a kid doing drag?
Well, this is a whole different conversation, I think, because it's like, what's the point of any of us doing it, right?
Well, but if I'm doing it, I'm performing in a club, getting paid for it. It's like that's like.
But when you started, were you?
No, but I was an adult.
Right.
And I was in a club setting.
No, for sure.
Because and people were like, there's a whole I was very fortunate. I was like 21 right when Drag Race got big, and that was right when like the whole like bandwagon of drag started. And I didn't have to wait to turn 21 to do drag. And we knew a lot of queens that had to wait. Some of them tried to sneak in. Some of them did get into the clubs under 21, and they're performing just for the sake of performing. And I'm just like, I don't know. For me, I'm like, why do you need to be doing this right now? Like, why did you need to be in the club doing it? Like, you could be doing it like whatever. It's just one of those things where I'm like,
Drag Race.
It's different. Like when you sing, you can sing anywhere, or if when you dance, you can dance anywhere. Or when you do any kind of art, you can do it basically anywhere.
Comedy is kind of the same as drag that way, because if you're a comedian or you want to be, if you're like, there is a 16-year-old comedian. He lives in Walnut Creek. The other one,
Is he
the
good?
W. Yeah, what?
Is he good?
He's good. He's very good.
Wait, was he the one here?
I don't know if he's ever been here.
Okay, okay.
But if you're under 21 and you want to go into like an open mic at a comedy open mic, they will let you, and then you just have to go out right away, right? But like if you're this guy's good, so no one wants to stop him from doing it, right? And I think with children doing drag, I'm not a parent yet, but I think if your kids have interests and you want to foster and nurture those interests, you don't want to stop them. You want to let them do it. And kids be wanting to do all like how many little boys want to fake shave, and how many little girls put on makeup when they're like 3?
Mm-hmm.
Kids want to do adult things.
I have an answer for both of those.
Well, it's just because like I know that's a very overly simplified way of me saying it, but it's just because I've seen a lot of like kid drag performers. I've met a handful of them like a few years ago. Like there was a few that were like pretty famous on social media, and I met them, and they were a fucking cunt.
Yep.
They were so fucking spoiled.
Say their name.
They were. I don't remember their name. They were a famous baby drag queen on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, and I met them, and they were a fucking cunt.
But I think that goes back to parenting, right?
Kind of, but then it's like, but everyone's like, no, leave them alone. They're a drag queen. They want to do what they do. It's like, yeah, but you can't like what you don't
should
learn.
Still be a good person.
No, what people don't learn is that like it's showbiz. It's like when you look like shit when you're a drag queen, or if you don't perform well, people will tell you you look like shit. We're not going to book you. But if you're a kid, or if you're like this new generation of performers where you get praised for every fucking thing you do, you're going to be set up for this kind of like participation award thing where it's like, oh, you're fine, you're perfect the way you're a star.
Oh my God, I've never heard this.
And
Go on.
and then when they grow up and they're like, oh yeah, when they grow up, it's like they do the bare minimum. They don't think they have to look a certain way or do a certain thing because they don't have a point of view. I mean, if they're like a child prodigy at drag, then fine. But I've yet to see one. But like I just feel like in what we do as like professionals or as artists, like it's just a different thing where I'm like, I can't really compare to another form of art that's like I don't want to go straight to like burlesque dancing or something. But
acting?
I think
acting. You could be a child actor though.
Yeah, but some child actors end up like cunts. Some of them end up on drugs. Some of them end up burned out. Some of them quit because they hate it. Some of them are forced into it by parents that want them to do it. Some of them just legit want to do it. And some of them end up fine. Usually women, not the men. Usually the men end up fucked up. I don't know why. But so I get what you're saying.
I think because I'm just like,
but it goes back to parenting.
I'm just an old fart where I'm just like, I miss when like drag was like not cool, and it was like, well, because I think things like Drag Race has put out this mainstream idea what drag is, and it's just not what it really is.
I think that's that is a topic we can talk about.
I'm like, yeah, is drag family friendly? I'm like, now it is because it's mainstream, but is the drag that I like family friendly? No, like, and it's like very. It's like I said, like it's such a vague art form. It's like saying like music. Like I would take a kid to see, I don't know, Taylor Swift or something. I don't know if I would take him to go see like Megan Thee Stallion right away. But anyone like like I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, what's wrong with Megan? I'm kidding.
I mean, but it's like I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to a kid going to see it, but like how people would be like, oh, I don't know if I would do that,
Mhm.
But it's just funny when people like are so sensitive about what we do as drag queens, and we'll be wearing like literally cartoon character Disney drag.
Right.
But if you turn on like TV, like the VMAs or any music video that's public on YouTube, there's like this ass, dick, titties out, everything. I like that stuff, but like I don't know if I would have.
You like titties?
I like titties, but like I don't know if like it just I don't know like where do you draw the line of like what's appropriate and what's not?
I think that's the answer to the question of
Yeah.
this episode, and I mean weigh in when you want to, but
I got away.
She's had enough.
I think
Officially.
I think you're right. Drag is an umbrella term, and far too often people make drag one thing. That's drag, and it's like, and I notice that a lot because, according to all those people, I don't do drag, but drag is a lot of things, and some drag can be family friendly, and it's up to the bookers, producers to make sure it's safe, to make sure they get the right. What are you doing?
Is this my camera?
No. It's up to the performers to make sure they come with something and don't do something that they shouldn't do in front of little kids, and it's also up to the parents to make sure. Sorry to make you but I think you're a great parent. You sound like a great parent, and you sound like a great parent. So it's up to the parents to make sure that the kids are being exposed to the right things, the safe things. So some drag can be family friendly, but drag is not just one thing, and so not all drag is going to be, or nor should it be.
Mm-hmm. What was your first? When did you first see drag in the media?
When did I first see drag in the media?
Or in person, or wherever?
I saw a poster of Frank. Do you know who
Frank Marino?
Frank Marino is?
In Las Vegas?
Yep.
Yeah. I watched it on Millionaire Matchmaker.
I grew up with a poster of Frank Marino's his poster, him and Joan Rivers. Him is Joan Rivers.
Yeah.
That was in my grandfather's garage from as early as I could remember.
I feel kind of bad for them. because
For
like,
real?
Because,
I was like, wait a second.
Drag Race
grandfather's
Live,
garage.
Drag Race Live must have wiped them out. The
Oh,
Divas.
totally.
I feel bad for that. That's like the only show I would have wanted to see in Vegas was the Frank Marino.
It's gone now.
I know. Isn't that sad?
It is.
I think that's
it's
another.
It's a lost like type of show, similar to like when back in the days, like when they used to have just like showgirls and can-cans, and then they started adding more like contemporary
Cirque du Soleil.
nude and Cirque du Soleil stuff like that. It wiped out like the whole showgirl genre in Vegas.
I think that's another whole nother topic. Is like.
I think Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny was everybody's like, oh yeah, something's up there.
Do we even as children? I'm Elmer Fudd, not Bugs Bunny. Or Porky Pig. I'm Porky Pig. It's not kosher at
I'm
all.
Daffy Duck.
Yeah. No, but like, do you even register that as drag? Do you think kids register what Bugs Bunny's doing as drag?
No, but like you recognize as kids, like, oh, like they're dressing up as a girl, haha, funny.
Right. Or you're
but
like
also oddly attractive.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
Right. I'm like, how did he get so much
That's one of my
hotter?
bucket list numbers, or is to do like the drag outfit that Bugs Bunny does with like the hat with the little.
I
that's, like,
want you to do that so bad.
I just don't know when I would do it. I don't know where.
I will
Anywhere.
come up with a show.
We're gonna do
You
it
know
on
what
Looney
the-
Tunes night.
The funny thing is, when my brother first saw that cartoon, because it used to be on part of a VHS collection, and my brother thought that it was like before Lola Bunny came along. My brother thought that it was Bugs Bunny and then his sister Bunny. Because
That's
it's
good
never
drag.
it's never
Sometimes it-
explained until like
That's great drag.
it comes off and
They
everything
never,
like that.
and they never explain it. He was
They
never
never
like,
explain it,
He was never
yeah.
like, I'm gonna dress up like a girl in full Elmer Fudd. He just start like, okay, this is my plan. I'm
Yeah,
gonna be a
he fully
woman.
comes out in
fully
drag.
has the wig and the boobs and the pads already in his rabbit hole.
He
And
is.
when he's in the shower, he comes out of the shower. He has a towel on his head, lipstick on.
I
Yeah.
mean, look, some of us get
Gender
out of the shower
fluid.
with
gender
lipstick on.
fluid.
She
But
was real
I
for
think
that.
my first like mainstream like traditional drag queen I think was on Sabrina the Teenage Witch when
RuPaul was
there.
on.
Okay.
And they did like the switch where he went from like boy and then he went. I was like, that's the same person.
The funny thing is that
That's what I thought
RuPaul
about
did
Frank
that
Marino.
same storyline in 3 different shows. Sister, and then it was like All in the House or something like that. RuPaul did the exact same storyline and switch out situation, and I was like, RuPaul,
They need
you can say no.
Divine
Like,
said the
They
same
need better
thing.
writing. They need better.
that's what I'm saying.
writers.
Like they were like, RuPaul, do you want to play a guy that switches into the girl and switches to the guy. She could have been like afterwards, like just did that.
Oh, I think we're all ignoring the.
Do you remember her on Sister Sister?
The earliest.
Did you say I'm too young?
Yeah, I didn't watch live action shows like that either. I only watched cartoons.
The earliest.
Degrassi was like the first.
The
live action
earliest
show I
drag,
watched.
maybe not for all of us, but the earliest drag really is Shakespeare, right? Like, Shakespeare's kind of. A lot of people think that's where the term drag comes from. I think it's because we drag around suitcases, but like. There weren't, but even without
misogyny.
Even without the actors, like a lot of Shakespeare's plots are like, this princess is on the run, so she's gonna dress up like a guy, and then she's gonna fall in love with this other guy, and he's gonna fall in love with her when she's out of drag.
Oh, like
but
Yen-
she's and
it's
it's
Yentl or something. Is there something that's also it's the same?
That's a movie.
Yes,
Yeah,
Yentl
but
by
same-
Shakespeare.
But you mean like
As You Like
I
It.
know Shakespeare didn't.
It's As You Like It. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that kind of like
Right.
they're disguised as a boy.
And so like
Yentl.
it's very
you know,
Shakespeare.
the Shakespeare.
That's when you come in
works,
with Jewish. Yentl.
Shakespeare.
So I think what it happens both ways, yeah, in media. So Mulan is drag, yeah, and the genie does drag like 5 or 6 times in
Mulan
Aladdin.
did drag, and then Shang like almost was like into her more when she was a boy.
Well, and the three guys did drag.
Yeah, the three though at the very end they were dressed up.
and
when
that
they were concubines.
that
Ugly concubines.
that's like that's a real thing, and it's also like a good script writing device to have the guy character to be into the woman that's also in drag, and like, why am I so attracted to you? Oh, it's your soul. So really everyone's just pan, I guess. I don't know, like, you know. But so I think we're at 11:30. Do you guys feel like we educated anything?
Do you feel enlightened?
Yeah. Okay, cool. So drag. Do you have anything else you want to
I
say?
have one last thing that I wanted to say at the very beginning, then I got thrown the other way. Is that if you're watching out there, or if you're a parent, if you take your kids to drag shows, take your kids to appropriate drag shows where it is advertised as family available, family friendly, all ages, age appropriate, etc. And then they can make the decision about that. And then the performers can make their decision about what they perform, knowing that those titles are on there. I don't like it when parents take their kids to knowingly non-age friendly drag shows where there are some performers that on a regular basis do either very provocative things, overly sexualized things, nude things, or whatever, because it's always the parent ushering the child with a dollar bill to go up in front of the drag queen, and all it takes is one person to film that interaction, post it on Twitter, and to let them have a field day and give bad names to the entire drag community. So it's like, know where you're going, know what's there, read.
Oh, you lost me there.
It takes 60 seconds or less. And it also is on the producers to make sure that they know who their audience is going to be. And if they know that one of their performers has a reputation for being provocative or whatever, to either tell them and inform them to cool it down or pre-inform the audience of what they're about to see. That's my tea. It's only because I hate it when I see it online, and it's never by a performer or a family or a person who's like, I took my kids. It's always by a person who's like, look what I caught on film. This is what drag people really do. And it always gives us a bad name because of that.
And now there's like deep fakes people are making that aren't even
Oh,
real.
yeah. Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
It's like now it's like, well, what's the point? Like they're just gonna Photoshop us into a yoga studio or something like that with kids watching. Like that's not even real imagery. But it's just weird that they're doing that. Like they're going so far out of their way to paint us in a bad way that it's like AI generated.
It's not even pretty girls.
I've been trying to get a yoga show started.
I did a show at a yoga studio once. It was interesting.
I did one of the Heat ones, the Orange Theory ones.
Oh yeah. That's not that hot. That's all about how hard you work out.
Bikram yoga.
Well, I dance, so
I work out hard when I go to Orange Theory.
I meant performing.
I look pretty. Okay.
So hard, look pretty.
We're gonna
Do you
fight
have-
on so many opinions tonight.
Do you have anything you want to say?
Ditto. No, I agree. Like, yeah, it's hard to like pinpoint exactly because I feel like, yes, like obviously bring your kids if you want to a show that's appropriate for them, but it's gonna if you don't, then it's just gonna be on you as a parent. It's not gonna be. Well, actually, no, because even if they bring them to a show that's not for kids, it's not like a movie or a concert that they're going to be like, oh, you're a weird parent for bringing your kid to a rock concert or something. And most people I know grew up that way, and they grew up to be lovers of music and culture and stuff like that. But now it's like, oh, if you bring your kids to a drag show, they're going to come after us and be like, how dare you appear at a drag show when there's kids there? I'm like, they came to my show. That's not going to be the narrative. People are going to see us as the bad guy for a majority of this. So for me, I'm just like, I'm just going to deal with it and just know what I'm doing is not wrong and people are aware of what I do. But I can't speak for everybody, but I mean, I would hope that everyone kind of just takes accountability for what they do as a parent, performer, etc., protester, or whatever. I mean, if you're going to protest, at least use real facts, use real stuff. Like, if that was based in realism, then I'd be like, okay, you got a point. There are some provocative shows there. But when they take things out of context that are from like a strip club or like not even a drag venue, it's like, what are you trying to do? Like, if you
Or
can't find
when they accuse you of things that
yeah, because at least you can be like, that's not true. That's false act. That's a false
Right.
fact. It's not real. If we, as long as we just stick our ground and do what's right for us, and we don't hurt anybody or do anything bad, I think hopefully in the future we'll just kind of, get over it.
I think they'll find something else to protest
Right.
eventually.
Yeah.
I think I agree with both you guys, and I think I'm gonna keep trying to do shows for kids, but be very clear on the poster with the venue, with the performers. This is for kids. There are like I don't think I ever finished saying there are like you could bring a 13-year-old to our brunch at Punchline. I don't have any tickets left.
Do you
We're
think
sold
that
out.
like drag shows should start having ratings, like video games?
only if it's not a normal show. But yeah, it helps me with the poster. Like when we put it on the poster, it helps everybody understand what it is. This is a G-rated show. This is a PG-13 show.
Mhm.
This is an R-rated show.
X.
What
I-
show is this? Is this like PG-13?
This is
I'd say this is
PG-13. I said cunt a
PG-13.
few times. So. Yeah.
That's true. She swallowed her kid.
Well, that's
yeah,
you.
there was kids
we
here,
can't
I'd be
control
like,
you.
Poopy
You
head.
came on your own. I mean, you didn't come on your own. That's why you have 6 kids. But you came
Well,
on
she
your
did
own
not
accord.
come on her own.
Strong women
It's
standing behind
inappropriate.
other women. Yes. So I think that's my final say on that. Is I think drag can be for kids, and I'm excited to try to bring drag to everybody, and that includes kids. But not all drag is for kids, and like the things I do on Thursday nights, generally not for kids. So, and I try to keep my Instagram.
It's not
I
for
did look
adults
like a
either.
blow up doll. I just had to say what everyone else sees. So, anyway, thank you guys so much for coming. Give Jesse and Stab a round of applause if you can. Because we couldn't do the show without him. We'll be back. What's your Friday next month? What's the first Friday?
Let me look it up right now.
The first Sunday is the 6th.
Oops, that's my calculator. Let's see. The first Friday of August is the 4th.
Really? Okay. So anyway, we'll be back on August 4th with Shady and hypothetically Apple Adams. So thank you so much for coming again. Helen Heels, you want to say bye?
Bye, Helen Hills.
Okay, Katana.
Bye, Helen Heels.
Bye.
Bye.
Technically, the camera's still on because I think Jesse's out doing something. But just so like the mic's on. As long as we're
Roll
talking.
with me.
I just wanted to let everybody know. I don't care.
I might try to go to that tomorrow. The last Saturday show. Yeah. No, we looked at it earlier.
What are we talking about? I feel pressure now to entertain anybody that's still watching.
Oh, okay.
That's my girl.
I'm doing Paramore and Adele.
All right, that is that for the night. Thanks for coming out. Sorry. Hey, online audience, let's see if we can find a place to send you. I saw somebody doing a new friend doing something. Yeah, let's see if we can send you over to TFAB. Thank you, Mutt. Glad you were able to catch us. Sorry, I had to deal with some stuff up front, but here we go. Let's send you over to TFAB. And we'll see you back here tomorrow, 8 o'clock, for One Fall Improv, 9 o'clock. Scene Kids, just check out stabcomedytheater.com for our full calendar of events. Hope to see you again soon. Have a good night.
Father McKinley.